guys, how you doing today? It's me, Kelly. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. So, I got a nice handful size of people asking about gesso because sometimes I forget when I start recording or doing what I do, doing a page or whatever. I sometimes forget, like when I say, oh, you can use gesso or blah, blah, blah. So, I'm going to explain a few things about what the difference between gesso and using matte medium is and those kind of things. It's going to be Kelly's rendition because I don't really use all the big fancy words and stuff, but I want to let you guys know the differences and things that you can do. And I'm going to show a few things so you guys can see it. And we will get going. So, okay, so let's just start here. This is clear gesso. And what it is if you put it down, and I'm going to use all that I have just to show you different things on here. So let's do this area right here. I'm just going to pour a little bit, and I'm sure you guys have seen me use this before, but if not, here's a little treat. All right, okay, I just had my paintbrush. Oh, Kelly. All right. Okay, so here is clear gesso. What clear gesso is that as it dries clear. So you're not getting, what I love about clear gesso is that you, now this is the Crayola Twistables, these slick sticks, and you can see I just put clear on it and it didn't run that much. So that's a really good thing. My gelatos, when I do it, they run. So I'm using this on my Twistable page because a lot of you asked if we put gesso on it, what would it do, blah, blah, blah. So I just want to give you a quick show. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm sorry. I moved my water because my cat all of a sudden is obsessed with getting on my desk with my water and sticking his face in my paint water. And although I sometimes pick it up, I had to put it in a old Chinese container because sometimes I would pick up the cup and it's a whole long story. Okay, so this is clear. Now, clear can also be, okay, we got the clear Liquitex gesso. Who else? Golden makes it. I mean, you can find it anywhere. That's clear, so you're going to get that color. If we use Mod Podge, and this is matte Mod Podge, and it'll be the same. And let me show you. So here's your gesso, and I'm going to explain what the difference is when you use them. But you're getting the same type of thing. Okay, so that's Mod Podge. So when I was doing the video and I said, or you can use Mod Podge glue, blah, 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 or white paint, that's what I'm going to show you today. So now I'm going to use some of my school glue. And I only use Elmer's. I've not used anything else. A lot of people use school glue from the, scored a little bit on here, from the dollar store and all, and they like it, and some people don't. So I think it's whatever you kind of dig. All right, so I'm just kind of going to run this on this. I'm going to leave those dry for a second. And that will be right there, the clear. So imagine using the clear gesso, using Mod Podge, whether it's glossy or medium, using the white school glue, and I'm going to show you what we can do over it. You can use Collage Podge. Now, gel medium, if I would have grabbed my gel medium, what's with me today? I had all this thing planned, and then it goes away. Here we go. Gel medium. There we go. Gel medium is a glue. So it's kind of like your Mod Podge gel medium, right? And I like golden. This is the heavy. They have different types. So I have, the heavy gel, the regular. I get it in matte. I don't usually get it in glossy, but you can. It doesn't matter. But what this does is, no, it does the same thing. So let me just say this. If you are somebody who has gel medium at home, any brand, and you don't have clear gesso or Mod Podge or anything to that effect, you definitely can use your matte medium. The difference is matte medium that has no abrasive in it. I'm going to say abrasive, but all right, we're going to put our matte medium right here. So you're sealing in what you did, okay? We're sealing it in. And that's the matte medium. And we're going to let that dry. The matte medium doesn't have the grit, and I'm going to say grit loosely, use grit loosely because clear gesso has grit in it, like a grit. Some brands have much more than others. Now, I've made my own homemade gesso, and you can use baby powder. People use cornstarch because cornstarch is obviously not as maybe as coarse as baby powder. Some people use sand to make it a coarse thing. So you can kind of go on what you want to do. Do you know what I mean when you use it? Homemade gesso is essentially glue, white paint, or whatever color paint you want your gesso to be, and then baby powder or cornstarch or what have you. It's a great thing, great way to save money. You can get everything at the dollar store and make it yourself. Now, I buy these things with coupons. I like using those kind of things. Now, if we were to use, where is it? I have black gesso, which is one of my favorite things in the world. But where is my other gesso? Okay, here it is. All right, so here is golden gesso, and it's white. Okay, I gotta turn it this way because I turned my thing. All right, so if you can open it, which I can't because I'm not having a good day. Not having a good day. Okay, I almost cursed there, but I didn't. All right, so this is white gesso from Golden. I'm gonna set that there. I'm gonna rinse off my brush. I'm gonna dab off that water. You don't want much water on there. You want to stir your gesso, you can. You don't have to. And this is all it is. There's not a lot of grit in my Golden. This is regular gesso. This is white. So here I'm going over white. So you see what it does? It covers what you have going on there, where this obviously is bringing the color still through, and I'll show you what we can do with that. Okay, so now we just screwed up a painting, let's say, or we didn't like a color, and you just throw that gesso on there. And it's white gesso. Again, they have black. Now, when you make your own, you can make whatever color. You can go to the dollar store and get little plastic containers or use old jars that you have, and you can make a big thing of white gesso. Don't put white paint in it. Use the different jars and make one red, make one pink, make one purple, whatever color gesso you want, so you can sit and play. So you see the difference. That covers that. The clear doesn't. Okay. So now understand that watercolor, like if you're doing a watercolor painting, now I use regular gesso, but there is absorbent ground that they sell for watercolor painting, which is, another thing that you would put down. Now, for when you do watercolors. Now I'm just using white acrylic paint, and I'm going to put this up here because there's a lot of color here. And I'm just doing a little bit. I'm going to rinse my brush off, and I'm just going to show you. When you're painting and you want gesso, what gesso does for you is it seals your paper so it won't soak through. Now, I don't use gesso as much as, a lot of it's laziness probably, but as much as I probably should. But if you use your acrylic paint, okay, what you're doing is the same thing. You are sealing what's underneath, because acrylic paint is a plastic, so to say. All right, and I'm just going to seal that and just give it a second to dry. Now, if you have white paint, AC Moore, Michaels, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, they all have paints on sale, store brand paints all the time. You can buy any kind of, any brand that's on sale. And what happens is when you go and you see like AC Moore or Michaels or whatever, grab an extra of white, because then you can use that as your gesso, and you can get that for 59 cents on sale sometimes. For those of you starting out, so many of you write me that you guys are starting out and that you don't have the money, and I completely understand. This was a whole lifetime ago for me where I have all these supplies, and I have to say I'm very blessed. My husband, if I mention something, he would surprise me and buy it. I don't buy anything without coupons, really, but I'm very blessed. But I have not bought art supplies in quite a long time. So I try to find and use all the stuff that I do have, but I like to find inexpensive things to use. So like I said, the white paint, what that's doing is it is sealing that page, and that's soaking in. Do you see what I'm saying? So when we go to put color over that, you'll see. But again, the matte medium is more to stick something on. If we're sticking paper down, collaging, you know, you want to put a little bit of glitter, you know, whatever you have. But again, if you have gel medium at home and you're not like a big gel medium user, or you have no gesso or what have you, you can definitely use it to seal your page, because what you're doing is sealing your page before you actually put anything on it. So right here you can see I sealed my Crayola slick sticks that I did the video on prior. A lot of you asked, can you seal them? Well, I just put you know, white school glue, and I put Mod Podge over it. This is white paint. This is the gesso. This is the clear gel medium. So you can see it did not smear. It smeared a little bit, but not enough that it's a concern. Now I can definitely go over this. So I'm just going to give this another second to dry, and then I'm going to show you a color over it. I like using like I said, the gesso, the brand name gesso and whatnot. However, nowadays you can go into the stores, the craft stores, even Walmart sells crafts, and you can buy different, less expensive brands of gesso, or a gel medium, so to say. The gesso, a lot of people say they smell, and these are just things that people have told me. When they've written me and said, oh, I bought this gesso from here, or this brand gesso. Some gessos I don't buy, so I really can't speak to, but sometimes they have an odor. Apparently that's just what they're like. They still work and everything, but they have a little bit of odor. So if you do go buy a less expensive gesso from Walmart or wherever, which I'm all for, and it has a little bit of an odor, don't get turned off, if that makes sense. Again, texture. You can take your gesso, your Mod Podge, your Collage Podge, your whatever, and take a little sand and sprinkle it in there, and then you mix it together and then use it, and you have delicious texture. You know, for the background, it's like a ground. Geez, I have self-leveling gel. I have what else do I have? I have Collage Podge, Mod Podge. I have super heavy gesso, regular gesso. I mean, there's so many different things. I say if you're starting out, definitely make your own. Go to the dollar store, spend $2-3, get a container from there as well, or save an old container that you've eaten, you know, takeout or whatever, and make your own. Now, Gina Ahrens made a video where, and I'm going to try it, where she took a water brush, and I believe she put in liquid gel medium, I'm almost positive, and in the water here. So then you squeeze this, and what comes out is the glue and the water mixture, and you put it over that, and that seals it. And again, that's using gel medium, and that works perfectly fine. You use what you have around. That's what I tell you. So you don't have to go out and spend $1 million. You can if you have the money. I'm like all for it, but you don't have to. So I'm going to start down here, and I'm going to use let's see, what color shall I use? What color shall I use? Yeah. All right, let's do orange on these ones. Okay, so I'm just going to just put a little bit of orange, just a teeny bit, just to show you. And I'm going to wet my brush, and just do that. And then I'm going to kind of take this over. And this is great in mixed media because you're getting that layered effect, and it's not lifting underneath. Now you can wet your brush a little bit more and take a little bit more off like that, where you get a more mottled look. So you see how we did the orange, and then we just dab it a little bit and get a little bit of texture of that orange, but it comes up a little bit because it's sealed, and that's a good thing. And again, you want more, you know, orange, and then I can just pull from whatever's still wet on my acrylic, on my pad. And you see how you get that double? So that's great for mixed media. That's great for I mean, it's great for whatever you want. Now, let's do a little bit of lilac down here. And this is just, you know, regular lilac. And I'm going to paint on it. And I'm going to do the same thing so you guys can see. You can see how it's almost very opaque, the lilac. I didn't mix it with water. Now I can just go in and do a little technique of whatever I want, and you can see the orange coming out through it. You can also take your wet brush and do a little mush like that. And you see, it's sealed under there, so that's not going to lift up, but you're getting that great color underneath and the great color you have on top. Yeah, yeah. And then down here. And it's the same thing. And these are the Crayola Twistables underneath. Slick sticks, they're called. That was a little wet down there still a little bit, but you can see, you can definitely still see the blue underneath. I'm adding a little bit of texture. And then you got that great layered look. So let's do over here. Now those are all the glues, right? That is the gesso, the clear gesso rather, right here, the white school glue and Mod Podge. This is going to be with white acrylic paint, and over here is the matte medium and gesso. So this is the matte medium and gesso side. And look how that covers it. You get the same type thing, and then here is the gesso, and I'm just painting over it. And you might want to put, if it's a darker color, two coats of the gesso if you want, or matte medium, or whatever you want. But you can see how that makes it a little bit easier to cover the color underneath. You'd have to do another coat, but you can see it does the same basic exact thing. Now, my white paint, let's see. Let's do a little bit of the pink. And look, it covers it. Now that could have dried another second. I'm just trying to get some of this up. And look at that. It does the same thing. So again, these are all inexpensive, great ways to get a gesso type situation going on. You can see, you can definitely, lift up and get great coverage. Or if there's canvases, I do over canvases sometimes when I make a mistake or I'm not digging it, and I will go over, which I'm going to do on this. I'm going to go over all this and make it a background for something. I was testing out my markers here. So you can see, you can use your white school glue, you can use your Mod Podge, you can use your white paint, you can use your gel medium. What else did I use? Matte medium, gesso, clear medium. There's black gesso again, which I love. I started out doing oil paintings years ago. Bob Ross was my best friend, and oh God, it's 20 years ago I started doing oil painting. I should get them out of the haul, but I used to do that all the time. And black gesso he used, and I fell in love with it back then. And then when I stepped forward into painting and acrylic paint and all that type of thing, I used the black gesso and just fell in love with it. Again, making it yourself is a total win. Using white school glue, I feel, for you starting out, is a total win. If you can afford the golden and Liquitex, I say okay, go for it. Use a coupon even, and have a blast. But this is basically, that's the difference between, like I said, gesso and gel medium, is that gesso has a little bit of texture in there, and gel medium doesn't. So you're getting, things are going to grab onto there better. But it's not a necessity, no way. And you can see, I got my hand in paint because that's what I do. I can then write over the gesso, but you can also, but you don't have as much tooth. And really, you can see that's not as dark as that one because this one has much more tooth. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Not really. So that is it. I got so many questions on that. I hope that answered it. All your questions. I tried to hit all of them. I'm just smushing it out. I don't know why. But, any other questions, just ask, because like I said, it's a very good question, a very valid question. When I saw like 3 or 4 people had emailed me about it, and a couple of people had left comments, and I thought, wow, I didn't even think about explaining, why I was doing it, what I liked. But that's pretty much what it is. You can pretty much use at-home items to get yourself started and to do great art journals or great pages or great canvases or great printer paper things or whatever you dig. It's not that, it doesn't have to be that expensive. I did, however, I know I saw a lot of you want the Twistables Slick Sticks giveaway, so I'm going to do that soon. And a few of you had asked, because you guys are in different places, I guess you can't get the watercolor colored pencils. However, you can use rose art as well. and I have them somewhere. I got to pull them out. Rose Art makes watercolor pencils as well. Staples has them and that kind of thing. And they're just as, they're just as good. So if you are looking for colored pencils and you can't find Crayola watercolor pencils, look up Rose Art and that type of thing. Michael's delivers now. If you can't get to a Michael's or you are disabled and homebound, you can definitely get them from Michael's and all as well. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know down below if this was helpful to you. Any more questions, as always, email me, knittingandthings@netzero.com. You can email me on Facebook. You can email me on YouTube. You can leave a comment. I love it all. And again, let me know what you guys think. So any more questions, just ask. I love you guys so very much, and I hope you all have a great day. As always, be kind to each other. You never know what battle somebody else is fighting. And I look forward to seeing all you guys' art. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.